Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to Gabriel Prod, and welcome back to the episode number 2 of this indie game devlog journey. I left a link in the description for the first part, in case you missed it, and basically I created the animations, the movements for the character, and also implemented the parallax effect for the scenario, as well as a frame manager to transit between scenes. So those were my first 2 days of game development. So with all of these features behaving well, I decided to start working on 2 things that are going to be essential in this game and have to be implemented earlier because many mechanics will depend on them. And it's the aiming system and the weapons and ability selection. The aiming system is pretty straightforward, but in terms of user experience, the process of selecting a weapon or an ability required a bit more of planning and thinking, because I'm designing this game in a way that plays well in a keyboard and on a gamepad as well. But we will get there in a moment. For now, on the day 3 of development for the aiming system, I designed this simple crosshair in Photoshop and imported to Unity so I could use it with a good old friend of mine, the particle system. And I gave it this bluish UI color and made sure it rotated slowly like this. What I needed to create next was the character aiming script to make sure the crosshair appears once we are aiming, which in a PC with a mouse it will happen once we click the right mouse button. And once it's aiming, I enable the crosshair and pass in the position of the mouse. And it was working well, and it was nothing too fancy for now. This will certainly require improvements, but it's working fine to test the next step, which is shooting a projectile. So I imported this effect from one of my own packages, the Unique Tune Projectiles Volume 1. It contains a bunch of cool effects. Anyone who's interested, I left a link in the description. And basically I removed everything from the package, since I only wanted this effect only. And I created all the code from scratch for the abilities, and for example, if the ability in question is a projectile, then it will move thanks to this piece of code in the fixed updates. And I can give it a direction to the projectile, and down here there's a bunch of stuff for collision that I know I will need sooner or later. The ability itself will spawn if we are aiming with the right mouse and if we press the left button, which calls the character's abilities script, that tells the character to play a certain animation according to the ability in question, and then spawns the projectile and passes the direction between the character and the position of the mouse. More precisely, the position between the fire point and the position of the mouse. And I end up with something like this, which is actually looking pretty cool, and for a starting point, this is really nice. Now, my character will also have weapons, so it means I will need to select them like I was saying in the beginning. So first I created a quick knife, machete style thing in Photoshop, and then I also created some animations for the character once again. They are nothing special, because the character will be improved as well as the animations and the bones and the rigging. So basically nothing too fancy for now, since the purpose is to test switching between weapons and abilities. Okay, so obviously in a PC with a keyboard, the options to select abilities are a lot. So the day 4 and 5 of development was spent on working on weapons and ability selection. So I started working and thinking about a few weapon selection user interface options. Like, should it be at the bottom in a rectangle? Or on the left side of the screen? Maybe smaller in the bottom like a MOBA? Or should it be in a diamond shape? Why not? Maybe something like Alpha Circle would look cool with a pointer in the middle. But if I want to implement more abilities or weapons, this one will be limited. So the one that I found out to fit well in the game and to be very interesting is this last one, a radial UI, or also known as a pie menu. So I thought about how would one implement that kind of radial UI, and instead of losing too much time on creating something from scratch, I went to the asset store and found this awesome asset which is pretty much what I was looking for. So I bought it and was immediately interested on how it worked. And I messed with the code, I tested, I broke it, and I finally was able to adapt it to my game. It sounds like I lost too much time, but I actually didn't, and it turned out to be quite easy and a time saver in fact. And I can even add as many buttons as I want and it will keep on dividing the pie, which is awesome. So this is how it turned out in game, after quite a bit of adaptation obviously, but I basically press Q to show the menu, and if I press Q again it will hide itself, and I can select a weapon with my mouse or an ability as well, which is pretty cool, right? The cool thing is that this menu is easy to set up with a gamepad, which is something that I've done already after recording this video. And of course this can be visually improved, but the idea is working really well. And for now it's exactly what I was looking for. It's also great because now I know how it works, so if I need to tweak anything, I can easily do it. So to keep on testing the weapons and ability selections, I needed something that was a weapon and used projectiles at the same time, basically a gun. That's when I decided to design a simple revolver, nothing too serious for now, just testing things out. I also parented to my character right hand, more specifically to the I key. This way I can enable and disable which one the player selects without having to instantiate a prefab every time. At least that's how it's going to work for now. So this revolver will shoot projectiles, bullets basically, so I got another visual effects from the same package that I used earlier. And I also implemented the muzzle effect and the impact effect as well, and created the respective animations for when it's aiming and when it fires the weapon. I also added a button to the pie menu with the same revolver image as an icon. And this is how it turned out. So yeah, I think this radial menu is a very good fit for the game. I'm very pleased with this. Let me know what you think about it, by the way, guys. Okay, so one last thing that I want to show you guys in this video is the storyboard. Like I said in the first video, I was creating the story for the game as if it were a script for a movie. And at the same time, which I didn't show in the first video, I was also creating the storyboard, which reflects the script. Basically it contains camera transitions, each scene that I will need to create, dialogues, puzzles, weapons for the player, and specific instructions on what the player needs to do, how he can do it, where he needs to go, and all of that. And I can literally play the game in my head. Let me tell you this, I think it's one of the most helpful things for an indie game developer. It basically highlights the flaws that I had, or how many frames I need, and even gives me an estimated time of how long it takes to complete this or that, or if it needs to be longer or shorter. So it's really helpful. And it brings forward what I need to create. And I can't show you that much of the storyboard, sorry guys, because I don't want to spoil the story of the game. But anyway, I'm very close to finishing the narrative for this game. Like I said in the first video, I know it will end because I created a few topics and story. I just have to write how everything happens, where it happens and how it happens. But hopefully in the next video I can truly say that it's done. So that's it guys. There's finally a build available on my Patreon page for the top tier supporters. In case you are interested, you will support me and you will get access to many visual effects for your games, as well as shaders and a few more things that can be really useful. Lastly, I want to say thank you to every patron that supports me, it means a lot. And I really want to say a special thank you to the super mega patrons, which are CJ, Goblin Plague, Green Fast Data, Igor Okapkin, James Finlay, Ruan Mendiola, Mark Brittingham, Nicholas Jave, Remiel, Warden Studios, Javier Nguyen, and Diayoni. And like always, I'm sorry if I pronounced any of your names wrong. You guys are truly awesome and I really appreciate your support, it really means a lot. And thanks everyone for watching and see you in the next video.